when people refer to vast swaths of demographics as one unit,
monolithic
almost.
link. Yep.
Right. Yeah. The Latino people, Mexican people believe this.
Yep.
I've had people that don't know that I'm Mexican, maybe didn't know my last name, say that that Mexicans suffer on a day-to-day basis from discrimination in a number of ways. And then I would say, I don't feel like that.
Sure.
I'm an individual.
Yes.
I am Mexican, but I haven't suffered from any of this. I haven't had any significant things derail me on my pursuit to success in any given. Life's not more hard for me than it is for a white person.
Without a doubt.
And then they've said, like, well, what would you know? And then I tell them, hey, I'm Mexican. And then, oh, I didn't realize that. In the winter when I'm a little more white and stuff. But what do you think? Is that a problem, this identity politics thing and referring to groups like that?
Without a doubt. Now, the problem that we have in politics is there's no real other vehicle for us to do it because we can't talk about people on the individual level. Right? The monolithic stuff is just the way, right? Because if truthfully, we the people is still true and what we adhere to is that one of the things that's most important about a representative democracy is that a democracy needs to be representative of what the people think. The only way that we can actually figure out what the people think is to try and poll them, right? The most accurate, and it's still not accurate, the most accurate data that we ever get is the census, right? We literally try and count every single person in the United States. But when it comes time to feelings, right? How do you feel about your opportunities in the United States? Or how do you feel about X, Y, or Z? We have to poll a small number of people to come up with a nationally significant survey, which a nationally significant survey in the United States usually is 1,000 people, right? But there's some, there is obviously some error that is going to be prevalent there. But you're right. And so part of it is, and Paul, this is a difficult conversation, right? That there are certain people that could say, well, you can get away with it because you don't look like the type of person that other people are talking about, right? That you look more as if you're a white person, right? So if they didn't know that your last name was Garcia and they didn't have you self-identify, it'd be harder for people to identify. Well, that's hard. It's a lot different if you're a black person in the United States. There's not much.
I wonder what that is like. If I could put on like a black suit, a costume that just looked exactly like a black person.
Yes.
I wonder if I would notice. Like
there has been research that's been done on that, right? That people know, right? Or even that you see that when you're in a position, it's a funny example, but like Undercover Boss, right? When the boss goes down and he works with people at the lower level, all of a sudden he sees things that he didn't see before because from your perspective, you can't understand because, right? That's your privilege, right? And again, I'm a white, I'm a white male that grew up in, Central Illinois. I'm straight. I don't know what it's like to be gay. I can't even for 2 seconds, but I've talked to a lot of students who their lives have completely turned upside down the moment that they came out. I've had parents disown them. I've had, people who loved them, like their grandma, say that they don't want to be associated with them anymore. I can't imagine what it would be like to walk a mile in a woman's shoes right now. I wouldn't understand what it's like to be Latino, what it's like to be black, because those aren't any experiences that I've ever had. And I think that's a danger for all of us. Because we, and especially in government, we try and make rules that are for all people, that they're not just for one group or another.
Right. And I think you're absolutely right. Once I just thought about it for a minute, it's like my experience as a Mexican person in my ethnicity, in my DNA, my last name, skin tone, I look like a white guy with a tan. And and I speak perfect English. I am straight as can be. I'm even Catholic. And my experience is going to be drastically different from someone that literally just came from Mexico, can't speak much English, looks way darker than I am, looks more traditionally Mexican, et cetera, is more culturally Mexican.
Without a doubt. I had one of my best friends when I was in college, a Korean guy. I remember one time we were up in downtown Bloomington at the bars, and this one guy came up to him on the street and started speaking Korean to him. My friend's like, I was born in Bloomington Normal. I have no idea what you're saying.
In the summer, I see that a lot more Spanish, which is funny.
He didn't grow up. He didn't speak. He didn't speak the language. So when he told the guy got pissed at him. He was like, "What?" And then he walked away. But he's like, there are oftentimes people look at another person and they leap to a conclusion. We do it all the time. Whether a person looks gay, whether a person looks Mexican, whether a person looks whatever it is, and then we start to make all these other connections as to how they think and feel.